So, second season of Underground. I have to say, when we were here last year, I didn't think it was going to work.
Wow.
What made you guys think that it was going to work?
We just, from the start, we said we wanted to be bold. We really wanted to push the bar, that we've seen this time period depicted in one way, and there was a totally different way it could be depicted. And so we always saw it as a thriller, and we always came at it that way. And
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we wrote a show that we'd want to watch, and that's all you can do. And fortunately, we weren't alone.
yeah.
It's a tough story to tell. In terms of your creative process, how did you decide certain things that you were going to tell and certain things that you were like, ooh, this might be a little bit too much for an audience?
I don't think we ever say it's too much for an audience. I think that we think that this, this time period is very important to take a look at, to shine the light on. And for us, there's nothing that's off limits.
Well, certain characters are certainly being taken through it more than others. In terms of your creative process, once again, how did you sort of play these different characters out when it comes to, let's say, Ernestine or even Rosalie and their varying scenarios? Where were you looking at in terms of these character arcs, and how did they come together?
I think we just wanted to put all of our characters in a place where they have to decide who they are. If season 1 was about running for your life and getting across that line at North, season 2 is about life isn't that easy when you get North. You have freedom. What are you going to do? How will you fight for it? How will you change the world?
Yeah.
We've lost some of the Macon 7, though. We're down to, I think, is it 3 or 4 folks that are still on the fight. So in terms of directing the storyline for season 2, as you said, now that people are getting closer to freedom and dealing with that, how is that going to play into the feel of this season overall?
I think with this season we dig deeper with our characters, and we introduce some new ones. Harriet Tubman, Jessica, Georgia, who is running a station along the Underground. I think we opened the world up a little bit more, where we were following one group on one plantation. Now we're going to see the workings of the Underground and what this movement really meant.
Some people didn't make it to season 2. Was there any character that you were like, oh, I hate to have to see this one go?
All of them.
Almost all of them, yeah. And I think that's the whole point. You want to miss them. You want to understand how dangerous it is. But at the end of the day, we're a genre show, so we broke a few rules, and we'll see a few familiar faces.
What about it in terms of historical accuracy? How much research did the two of you have to do before even delving into the story, and how much of that you see on screen is based on things that are actually historically accurate?
We did an extensive amount of research, and we continue to read. We're still reading right now, even, and we try to stay historically accurate as possible. We don't take any major detours. There's no whole sections where you'd be like, that's could never happen, and we pick and choose. Like last year in the senators talking about electing Tom, we used all pro-slavery words. Those were real words. We did not write them. So it's stuff like that where we sprinkle in that history.
Yeah, and for example, in episode 6 this year, we basically have Harriet Tubman give a TED Talk. And it's, it was based on some of Harriet's talks. It was based on a lot, and our script had a lot of blue text, which meant Harriet actually said this word for word. But everything else was based on something that had been recorded that she had said. And we kind of put it all together into 1-hour television.
Finally, Women's History Month is March. The show is back in March. Is there a woman of history, other than one that you may have found in the show, that you admire, that you would like to pay tribute to very quickly?
Angela Davis, whose birthday was yesterday. Yeah, that's a great story. It's just all about, someone who's seeing that I can do something to help this world become a better place and doing that. But there's so many stories that we should be hearing and knowing about too.
Yeah, I feel like we're just finally hearing these stories that we never heard. We look at Hidden Figures. I mean, where's the Mary Curie movie? Just all these women who are just like, oh yeah, you keep telling me this is a boys' game, but guess what? I'm going to be the best at it.